Welcome back, guys. It's been a while, but today we're going to be doing something awesome on Project Daily. Today we're going to be giving it a full detail. We're going to start with a wash, then clay bar it, seal it, wax it, and polish it. We'll polish it before all those. But anyways, here's some of the stuff we'll be using today. So, as always, the trusty Adams Polish Car Shampoo and some Iron X. This I'll be showing you exactly what it does, but it does some pretty cool things. It actually takes off any iron or any brake dust around your fenders. And then we're going to be starting off with some clay bars. We're going to be clay barring it and then giving it a light polish. We won't have to compound it like we did on Adrian's car, so that's all good. And then we're going to prep it with some prep because I didn't prep last time and there was probably some polishing oil still on there. Then this is the new thing we're going to be doing. We're going to be using some Power Lock Plus, which is a synthetic sealant, and that is going to go underneath our trusty Colonite 845. So this is going to be a while. So actually, if you guys have noticed, I am going to be live streaming this whole process, like the whole 8 hours of it. So that's going to be probably up in this corner or this corner, whatever corner it ends up. And you guys probably will have seen it on my channel as we're filming this. Also, we have our handy dandy polisher and some polishing pads. We got our polishing pads. We got these two. These two are for like cutting. We don't need to use these today because the paint's not too bad. And then we have our finishing pads, which are for wax and sealant. Also, I've been reading up on it, so I have a little more experience than we did last time. This isn't going to be a perfect method, but I think it's going to do pretty good for right now. So I'm going to be making a full video of how I wash my car and what I was doing wrong for the last probably year and a half now, because I've done some research and I've been doing it completely wrong the whole time. And same with Adrian and David, they didn't know what we were doing wrong, but I'll be doing a full video of how to correctly wash your car. But anyways, right now we're just filling up the buckets with a pressure washer. You guys have seen me wash the car a bunch of times and I have that video coming out soon, so there's no point in showing you guys again. So just, I will catch up to you once we get the rest of the car done. Again, we'll be using the foam cannon or foam gun and just spraying it down, and then 2-bucket method, rinsing it down, drying it off, and then bringing it back in the garage. Once we have it back in the garage, it's time to hit it with the clay bar. That's probably going to take the longest out of this whole video, is clay barring it, just because you have to go over every panel. But while we're waiting, we'll put some Iron X on the car. So this is a iron filing remover. So pretty much just spray it on your wheels, just everywhere. And then like I like to do just the little area up here because that's where your brake dust kind of gets. And after a couple minutes it does this. Check this out. So it's purple actually, and that's because of the liquid. It reacts with any iron, so raw iron shavings or whatever, and as you can see it cleans your rims right out and gets all those little iron shavings, and it looks really cool too. But it smells absolutely disgusting. So now that we have that on, it's time to go with our buckets and clean up the car. There we go, the car is nice and clean now. As you can see, it does have some scratches and swirls. That's the main reason we're going to be polishing today, and we're going to be getting every one of these out, or at least I hope so. The Iron X did take a lot of the iron fillings out, or filings. As you can see, it's kind of all washed down, but it's all gone now. And I found some new chips on the wheels. But of course it's not going to be a perfect clean. As you can see, there's water dripping out. Usually I'll pay more attention and try to dry it, but we are going to be detailing it, so it's not that big of a deal. So the next thing is to pull it into the garage and now actually start on the detail itself. We're back in the garage, and now comes the most annoying step ever, clay barring the car. So I ended up making some clay bar lubricant, so you can go get it at your store, or I have the no rinse wash stuff that I use for my quick detailer. It also makes great clay lubricant. It's a 1:64 ratio, which is really, really little, so I barely use a quarter in this. It's like a quarter cap. And then I'm just using some normal clay, nothing too special. I'll probably end up getting a nano skin mitt, because what I've heard is they're really good, and if you do this as often as I do, it's probably not worth having the clay. I'm going to show you guys super quickly how to clay bar your car, but I'm not going to do it super in depth, because you guys have seen it 3 or 4 times on this channel, on my car, on the Miata, and on Snowflake. But before we continue, I'm going to say hi to the live stream. So we have, or had 3 people, I don't know, it's all broken, but, so we have these people right here, and him, and then there's some other people too. So if you see yourself on here, oh, hi vlog, there we go. This is going to be a very long live stream. You guys can check it out, I'll leave it posted, but I don't expect you guys to watch the whole thing. It's going to be like probably 6 or 8 hours today. But if you guys want to see comments or something, we talk about cars every once in a while. We're trying to figure out what's this weird little sun visor thing. You guys seen it in my headliner video. But anyways, let's get to polishing the car because it's going to be a long time. There goes a bike. Now for the fun part of clay barring the car. So I'll just quickly show you exactly how I'm going to do this. This is what I've read up. So you just take your lubricant, spray lots of it. Once it sprays, there we go. Spray lots of it, and then just rub it across the surface. And once it feels like it's going across smoothly, like this, then you can move on to the next panel. It's a huge process. It's probably the longest process. So I'm gonna do that because you guys don't really see any noticeable changes, but I'll see if I can find any spots that are really bad and show you. So the whole front clip is done. The bumper was just an absolute nightmare, but I'm used to it because it is just painted horribly and there's so many chips. But I was actually surprised of how much stuff was actually sitting on the hood. I thought the hood would be pretty clean, but once I started clay barring it, I pulled out a lot of stuff. So next we're gonna do this. I'm gonna do it right now and we're gonna see actually how bad it is. I think that's probably gonna be the worst spot, but maybe it's not, and maybe the rear wheels are gonna be, which would make sense too because that's where you get all the stuff coming from when you're driving. So sprayed it down, and we're just gonna rub the clay bar. So as you can, so what you heard there is all this little stuff being picked up by the clay. I don't know why it's yellow. Usually it's like rocks or something, but I've been pulling off a lot of little yellow contaminants, which I have no idea is. Maybe it's just because it's sitting in the sun or bugs or something. But as you can see, it moves pretty slowly and it makes a lot of little scratching noises. But what that's doing is actually pulling it out of the paint and onto this clay bar. So this is what it is like before clay barring. It kind of rolls around, doesn't really slide too much, right? Now watch after I clay bar this. Okay, so we got some contaminants out, ready for this. Oop, I just about lost it, but as you can see, it slides like pretty much like fresh glass. So that's what you're trying to do essentially. So I just want to show you guys that to show what the difference makes when you clay bar, because a lot of people I think don't think it's that important. But in my eyes, I see it super, super important when you're polishing because it gets all those little things out of your paint. We're finally done clay barring it, but it was worth it. It looks so much better. As you can see, it's pretty much raw paint right now just because we've taken everything off with the soap and stuff and we've clay barred it. So now we're gonna go take this polishing compound. We're not going with the heavy cutting one, we're just going with a nice light cut just to get all the swirls out. And we'll be using the white polishing pad, or the white Hexlogic polishing pad. And what we'll be doing is, I'll be showing you as usual, but we'll be polishing every single one of these panels. And as you can see, it reflects pretty well right now. And we got more people on the live stream right now. We've got someone from Australia and someone from Texas, so you guys are awesome, and there you can see their comments. We've been talking about what we want to do with Project Daily. Before we get to polishing, I just want to see what we're starting with. So if we take a flashlight, you can actually see that there's not many swirls. That's why we're doing such a light polish today, but I still just want to do a little bit of polish. So I taped off a little bit of area. We're going to polish it up and see what the difference is between the non-polished area. And as I said, I'm just using the Meguiar's Mirror Glaze 305, or 305, that's a 205, with my white, which is a medium, I believe, polishing pad, Hexlogic polishing pad, and my orbital, or dual action polisher. So I'll show you the technique, and then we'll probably jump into a time lapse just because This is where you can start to see action happen, and this is where you can start to see the difference and the change. First off, what we're gonna have to do is saturate the pad with our finishing compound. So pretty much I just like to do like a nice big circle on it and go like that. And once we have it saturated, we're gonna turn down our polisher down to 1 and make sure your cord's out of your way. I like to put the cord right over my shoulder and then turn it on, let it go. I like to do this, just go up and come down. And then go across. And then when you stop it, make sure you still have the pad on the car so you don't sling stuff everywhere. And then you're going to put a little bit more, make sure you still have some on, which as I can tell, I do. And then put a little bit more on your polishing pad, just like a drop. Like all you need is a drop now. Put it down, turn it up to, I like to turn it up to 4, that's what I've been recommended. And then do the exact same thing. And then make sure to turn it off with it still on, because especially on 4, it's going to sling stuff everywhere. Now I'm going to wipe this off and just make sure that I got out all the scratches that I wanted to get out. Old, new. You guys can't really see much of a difference, but look at the reflection is like as pure as you can get. There's like not a single scratch or swirl. So there, I figured out my technique. So I just need to apply a little bit of pressure, first of all, and then once we got a little bit of pressure, you do 2 light passes, and it gets out all the scratches and swirls. So now we're gonna do the hood, and that shouldn't be too long. Actually, this whole car is probably gonna be half the time it took me to clay bar just to polish, because with the machine, you can do it pretty fast. So let's jump right into that. So there we go, we have the hood all polished, and as you can see, the reflection is pretty much perfect, just a little blue tinge to it. And if I just kind of pan out, you can see that it is super duper shiny. There's only a couple little scratches. There's actually a scratch like right here that you can't see anymore. Hoping the sealant itself actually fixes it, but if you can see, it is super reflective. So now we got to do that on the rest of the car. So here's just a comparison. So it is pretty close. This is just a little bit more shiny. So if everything goes as planned and I have nothing to show you, no complaints, the car should be polished in 3, 2, 3. And there we go. We finally have the car finally completely polished. Every panel is polished. Same with the roof and the side skirts and everything. So everything that has paint on it that could be polished is now polished. That took a long, long time. And you want to know how long it took? Well, when I left you guys, there was a storm over there and it was nice and sunny. Well, that storm has gone through, rained, and now is over there. So probably 2 hours. But if you take a quick walk around, it looks extremely clean. We're gonna start to prep it. I've never done this before. This is the step I was missing last episode, or last polish, same with the power lock, is you spray this stuff and it removes pretty much anything and provides just bare paint. So at some points I've probably left some polish, so this is going to remove it. There might be some handprints, this is going to remove it, which is perfect. So pretty much all you do is spray it down and wipe it off. Super easy. It's just like quick detailer or your spray wax. So I'm going to quickly do that. You're not going to see any difference at all. And then we are going to finally be able to put on the Power Lock Plus. So there we go, we just finished off prepping the paint for the sealant, and all it really did is remove any of the extra stuff that I might have left and kind of just remove any dust while I wiped, and it didn't scratch it, which is a good thing, I guess. Also, I used one of my good cloths to make sure I didn't scratch it. But now we're pretty much on the last step, which is the sealant. So as I said, we'll be using Power Lock Plus, and I'll be using one of my finishing pads. So just like Colonite 845, this stuff goes on super thin. So I have a new technique that I'll be using to get the perfect finish, and I'll be showing you that when we start the time lapse. Now that we have just a tiny little bit, we're going to what it's called kissing the finish, where you just go pat, pat, pat down, and then what you do is you turn it on. I'll be using speed 2 on the polisher, and then you pretty much just go, and then once you get, you lift, put down. And there you go, you've waxed a panel. As you can see, it's super fast, or applied sealant, so it's the same technique for both, but as you can see, it's much quicker because we don't have to do 3 different steps when like we polish. So I'm going to do pretty much the same thing on the rest of the car, and we should be good to go. And there we go. Every panel on this car is now coated with the sealant. So the hood technically is ready to come off. So here I'll just swipe a little bit. And as you can see, it comes off pretty easily. And you can actually see the shine beneath it. So every panel is now covered. That was the last thing I wanted to get on the car tonight. So now we just gotta wait about half an hour to take it off. So I'm gonna start pretty much on the hood because the hood is ready to go. Start on the hood, remove it, and then just slowly work my way around. And by the time I get to the other side, it should be ready to go. But I won't show you the final product till it's ready. So right now, take a look of how hazy it is, and wait about 3 seconds, and it should look perfectly clean. There we go, look at all the finish is off, or all the sealant, and look at that gloss, look at that shine. If you run your hand across it, it's like smoother than glass. It is wonderful. This Power Lock did an amazing job, and it just shines. Like, I can use this as a mirror if I really wanted to. But another way to test it is I'm gonna take my cloth right here that I've been using to pull it off, and we're just gonna push it up. Look how far it slides. Like, your cloth isn't gonna do that on just a normal finish. It's like, look at that. And same, if I set it down on my hood, it slides like a dream, like, whoosh, and it actually slides off. Oh, well, there it goes. Time to put that one in the wash. We finally got the Power Lock on. So that would have been my wax in my old steps. So we would have been technically done. But I decided, since we're putting Power Lock on, we're gonna put some insulator wax, or Colonite 845, which would be another couple hours. But this Power Lock has to sit for 12 hours. So what we're gonna do is next video, hopefully tomorrow's video, if you are catching my drift there, daily vlogs, is we're gonna put this on, and we're gonna maybe do the wheels. But before we go, let's just take a look at that shine one more time. It looks awesome, and it's gonna look even better with the wax on it. But until tomorrow, where we hopefully put on the wax, peace out, and stay humble.